Hi. If you have ever been in an accident where literally your life flashed before your eyes, you might understand the pause that I'm talking about, the moment of suspension that happens when you look at the pole you're about to hit or whatever it is that you're about to hit and know that there's no way you can stop it and know that there's no way that you can be in control of whether you live or you die. There's this almost sense of relief. Like I'm literally so out of control that there's nothing I could grapple with to make myself feel in control. So all I can do is float. And that moment of suspension had a very specific vibrational imprint for me. I'm sure it does for you if you have ever had an experience like that, where you were just in the pause of like such out of control uncertainty that you knew that the only thing to do was just be and release and kind of be in the suspension of when you're flying through the air or when something is out of place and you're waiting to see where it's going to land. That's what this quarantine situation kind of feels like to me. And like I said, there's this sense of peace that comes with that. So the way that I see this currently, and this probably is very bad for some people, very good for other people, but as a whole, it's really interesting because this situation is leveling the playing field across the board, right? When we have to see other people benefit or lose based on this situation, or when we have to recognize that nobody's going out, nobody's getting the things done that they want to get done, we're not in it alone. And that all of these recognitions of like this leveling of the playing field where people are losing money, they're losing their identity, they're losing their jobs, and people are losing their lives. Okay, right now I'm purely specifically talking about the fear, the psychic fear of this catastrophe, which of course there's the fear too of, oh my gosh, am I going to get sick, right? So this virus is putting us again all in this together. And it's leveling the playing field in the sense that a lot of people who are codependent empaths, you're at home feeling the pause right now, going, wow, I'm somehow at peace, observing this happen while the whole world is in chaos. So I want to talk about that, energetics, because we are also very good at creating crises when there are none, right? So we operate, our frequency is normally crisis oriented. And when the world is at crisis, or when we can find a crisis externally, we know how to just buckle up tight, hold ground, anchor in, and be the island, right? And I think that to a degree is what we're doing right now. And it's giving us the opportunity in this pause to really be on island time, to really be the rhythm that we want to the world in which we maneuver on, which our feet touch every day, to pulsate at. And right now I know a lot of people are running afraid, but if you're here, you might actually be in the pause and you might be like, whoa, this whole thing is going to land somewhere. And I want to, while I'm in the suspension, I want to get out of the way of the focus, because the thing is if you've had those experiences, you know you've gone through them, right? I lived through that accident. Actually walked away without a scratch, and if I would have hit that pole at any other place, I would have been dead somehow. My back seat was like inside of my front seat by the time I was done crashing the car, even though I went at it head first. Something spun me around and hit me backwards. I lived, okay? It was amazing that I lived, but I did. And if you've gotten through that experience, that means you're here. That means that you've lived through it. That means that after the end of this virus and after all of this comes to some new normal, which is never going to go back to being the same, but this new normal that we're creating, because we're in this space of being able to hone in the energetics that we want in our world. If you have been somebody who's working your ass off and going, I just need a vacation, well, here you have it, right? If you have been somebody who's going, I just want to get fired so I can get unemployment so I can figure out the next thing, well, here you have it. If you've been somebody, I understand that everybody's coming from different mentalities right now. And that's very, very scary for some people, but it's also an opportunity for every single person on the planet to recognize this, okay? we are in the pause, and it's an elongated suspension of that, like, whoa, where's all this going to land? This gives us the opportunity to be out of control. And this is, again, where we level the playing field energetically, is that we're always so uncertain and we're always so out of control. But the people who think that they're not, the people who try to wind it up tight and control their situation, those are the people having the hardest time right now, right? So we have to, a lot of the people that I work with focus so much. We spend nights and nights planning our escape, and then have the emotional backlash of feeling too weak and not enough energy or support to actually like execute the escape. We are people who like to escape mentally, energetically, physically. So there's a lot of people that I work with that are still in that rat race of what's next, what's going to happen next, how can I control what's going to happen next, and nobody can do that because nobody knows. So this is the opportunity to recognize, while we're in this pause, that every single person's attempts to control their life up until this point, they have thought that they were controlling it through focus. Everybody's like, I don't know where my focus should be. What should I focus on? But life didn't unfold because you focused on it, right? Life unfolds, period. So if I could give everybody who's looking at this the practice that I'm myself going to partake in this week, which is the recognition that focus never, even though it is a name, which is great, it's not the creative backdrop that unfolds. If the focus is the target, the wind, you have to be the arrow, and the wind has to kind of float you. And most of the time, all we have to do in the communication with the universe is shoot the arrow, know where the aim is, look to the aim, shoot the arrow, and then we have to let it go. We have to let the wind do its job. And that's the pause. This is where we go, where do I land? And I think that this week we have to really be in a space of recognizing that focus is not the thing that got the arrow to hit the target necessarily. It's not the only thing. And sometimes that focus actually gets in the way because it doesn't give the wind any room to actually like move us forward. So if you're wondering what to do next and going, okay, like, how is this going to unfold? Where am I going to land? You might want to be in the practice of recognizing that instead of you being the one focusing all the time, right, with that like a little bit of fear-based anxiety hum of having to control how it's going to go down, you are being focused upon by a divine presence that sees you, is in communication with you, and has your back. And if you can invert that to go, okay, actually, I'm being watched by a divine presence that is wanting to know what I want in this relationship that I have with it. It's wanting to know what I want in this relationship that I have with life. And right now I'm feeling like I have the time to create that energetic vision, to know what it is that the relationship I'm going to have with life itself is going to feel like. And then release it to this divine presence that is witnessing you by being the feeling that you want the universe to feel every time it looks at you, right? That right there is the heartbeat of true transformation. So, this is a really interesting time because the playing field is totally level. And I don't mean that financially. I mean that in that all of us, we are in this almost collective resurrection that is inevitable out of this. And we're all in it together. And if you're in the pause, one, my guess is after the conversation I just had, you've done enough work to actually get to be in that place where you can allow to just like trust where you're going to land, which is awesome. But it means that you're all here, right? You know, the you that you're like, whoa, I'm in here and I'm watching the shit about the end. There's a you, particular you that comes out when you go, whoa, that, I'm not going to be in communication with that thing potentially in a split second, that holds my package together. There's a you who's aware of that relationship that you have with the physical package in that moment. And that might be the you coming forth right now going, whoa, I'm in the suspended pause. And I've survived these pauses before, and I'm going to land in some place amazing. But in the meantime, I'm going to be in the energetics of being a very beautifully felt focal point for the universe itself. That's what is necessary right now. Okay? If you're in the pause, I hope you land somewhere awesome. I think that's all I wanted to say. Bye.